occurred to me that I may as well just quickly tell you what's. I completely forget that I don't tell people, how this all started. It was this vision and prophecy in 1982. So, I should quickly tell you about it. It'll only take a minute, really. And also something that I haven't told you before. So, at 10 years old, I'm sitting next to my gran, and it's a nice sunny day, and we're in the VIP section, seated section, and I'm very sensitive child, and also I really want to believe that the Pope is absolutely a top guy. He's just like Jesus, and the night before I had this thought. I thought, I wonder if it's the first overseas visit of the Pope, so surely the devil's going to be there as well, somewhere. And I had this sort of fantasy that the devil would, come on the stage, and the Pope would see him because he's got incredible, perception, and he'd usher him away. Anyway, so part of the reason I was so upset and demoralised was because, of course, I was really hoping that the Pope was, a really cool guy, but as it turned out, he was a right shit. He wanted to kill me, and I was only 10. He reared up at me, and I looked at him, and I was thinking, what's he doing that for? I mean, I'm here to, love him. I'm here to love him, and he's rearing up at me, and I'm falling down dead. Okay, so pretty much the same actually as an adult. Like I say, right from the very start, I really would have liked to have actually tried my best. Like I even said recently, I said, even after all of this, I'll go and try and be the Pope's personal friend and do a bit of gardening with him. Perhaps I'm being stupid and naive, but I always want to try and so anyway. So hang on a minute, I'm gonna have to take a break after that. I'll tell you what I thought. I thought I can make peace with anyone. I'm so pure and innocent. Why would anyone be not wanting to make peace with me? I mean, that I surely was. I had this thought because I knew for some reason the child that I was going to try and have to make peace with the Pope. And I was thinking, well, I'll be able to do that. Sure, definitely. I'm the man for the job. I was thinking, I'll just find some common ground, and it'll work out all right. It didn't though. It didn't work out all right. Okay, so I was a little bit upset there because I'm only doing all of this. Command my angels to be really frightening, because it's last resort stuff. I've really tried everything. I've tried every trick in the book, and nothing's working. So, is it true that what I say in the Bible, that some people, you literally you can only get through to them on a very, very base sort of animal level. On an animal level, I don't want to communicate to people. I don't want to talk to people like this. I've said it lots of times before, but if it's the only thing that actually works, and even that might not work, that's what the Catholic Church essentially do. They control people by fear. If you didn't know, for example, hell. Hell is the grave. It's derived from the same word as helmet. If you have a look at Revelation, the lake of fire, hell is cast into hell. The grave. It's the grave is cast into the lake of fire. What is the lake of fire? The lake of fire surely is a bit of a hell imagery. What I do in the Bible is I do play around a little bit with fear being the beginning of wisdom, because it is. First. But obviously, as you mature, we are expecting you to, to understand this is the imagery of the lake of fire just outside of Jerusalem, where they burnt the rubbish tip 24/7 where the rubbish 24/7, the smoke, the torment descends forever and ever. And like I say, the concepts are thrown into the lake of fire, so it represents what is abolished. You may say, well, what about Lazarus? And that's a parable. That's a parable. That's a non-literal story where you are permitted to take a myth, a cultural myth, and all of the meaning and truth is in the spiritual allegorical sense. Don't, whatever you do, take any truth or meaning out of the literal sense. So there's no hell or anything like that. It says in the Bible that eternal torture never came into God's mind. Eternal punishment, that's just extinction. God has set people in slippery places just after death. You are going to, if you're an evil little shit, the angels are going to perhaps get the shit out of you for a day or two before we make you extinct. I mean, some people really did deserve it, do deserve it. Some Christians teach that after we die it's just eternal punishment. Well, there's no justice in that. We do want a little bit of justice. We want a court case. We want someone needs knocking down a peg or two before we make them extinct. Then I'm all for that. But that day in '82, so I'm sitting there and I'm sitting next to my grandmother, and I'm bombarding her with very awkward questions. For example, I'm saying to her, well, if the Pope's God's representative on earth and Jesus is God's representative, then we can see the Pope, but we can't see Jesus. So surely that makes the Pope a little bit better than Jesus. And she's getting really annoyed by these questions. She's going, I don't. No, not really. And I'm saying, well, what are we all doing here, Nan? What are we sitting here for? Haven't we sort of come to really sort of worship or adore the Pope? 300,000 people. And, oh yes, okay. All these questions anyway, and they were really sort of penetrating and probing for a 10-year-old. I was fascinated in trying to get a decent answer from her, but unfortunately I didn't. And, anyway, so I'm sitting there and, the first thing I see directly in front of me are these two great big, best to describe them, probably that size of footballs, bird of prey eyes looking straight at me, out from the back of the stage. So I've got some sort of supernatural being or something, or looking directly at me in a bird of prey type of way. Not very nice. Well, later interpretation of that is the Catholic Church. They're completely paranoid about prophets. They're scared. They believe in prophets, but prophets terrify them, and they're always searching around. Amongst the little kids. They're not kiddie fiddling. They're kiddie. They're looking for the prophets, going, that child over there. He could be a dangerous prophet. Could be the single greatest threat to the Catholic Church. That's what that meant. And surely enough, they've been, staring at me like that all my life. I don't know why. Honestly, I really don't know why. I don't know if perhaps they haven't got minds of their own or something. But they're basically representatives, of course, for imperial political power, which is what this black eagle really sort of represents. Why would you be a representative for political imperial power? Why? I mean, I don't know. Because you're a submissive sort of type of person, and you really respect egotistical, violent, unpleasant power structures. I don't know. I mean, I really, honestly, do not know. But these people are anyway. They carry the life of the church around, and they call it the church. But of course, it's just basically, the mafia. It's just, it's just like a. You could do the same with anything, really. You could, you could start a business, and brainwash all your staff into, idolising it as some sort of entity that must be protected at all costs, and again, I say to these people, haven't you got minds of your own? Haven't you? Can't you engage your brain and work out that it's just a pile of shit, really? And everyone who used to be in it is now hated by everybody in heaven for misinterpreting metaphors. Well, I don't know. I can't. I don't understand it. I really don't. Never have. Perhaps someone could explain it to me one day. So anyway, So I'm sitting there anyway, and so he comes out. This is the first guy carrying the golden cup, which is the life of the church, full of the blood of the saints of the martyrs of Jesus. Again, why would you want to carry a cup full of the blood of the saints of the martyrs of Jesus? Why? Just say no thanks. No thanks. I'll have another cup, thanks. But no, for some bizarre reason, I don't know why. Perhaps they just like being submissive types to evil people. I don't know. Really, honestly, I don't know. But he comes out carrying the life of the church, and really incredibly arrogant with it as well. I mean, he walks brazenly to the front of the stage. He's got a waggling tongue. It's waggling out. I look at his face and I think, oh God, that's disgusting. Anyway, that's the Catholic little priest who came to see me in 2016. Well, I mean, obviously, I know I'm God. I obviously, created this imagery, and it's really effective in actually, explaining in a very powerful way, how disgusting the character of these people are, and no explanation for it. I mean, perhaps throw me up, and explain to me what am I missing here? How come I see it and everyone else sees it as just horrible, ugly, not nice? I don't know. I mean, why do you see it as something different? So, carrying the life of the church, and towering above me. So that's what is that telling me? That's telling me that he wanted to dominate me, basically dominate me. Yeah, very strange. I mean, he was a very short guy. Now, some people do say, and it does seem to be true, that short guys are they've got some sort of problem. Basically, if you look at all the tyrants, Napoleon, Putin. They've all got short guy syndrome. I am a tall, big, strong guy. I could kick the shit out of every small guy at school, but I was the kind of tall guy who thought I'm going to really respect hard people that don't use their obvious hardness to kick the shit out of people instead. And I actually got quite a good reputation from various people for being really strong, and if I did fight, I was bloody scary. But I'd really try and avoid at all costs, really. Using my size and but the small people, they exactly the opposite. They want to. Again, not very nice character trait, is it? I don't know why they're like that. Obviously, they're really pissed off with me for making them small, but there's qualities in being small. You could be, one of them rat tunnelers or whatever. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so that's he walks across the front of the stage, dragging his feet. Yes. Obvious, of course. For some reason, I didn't grasp it for about 25 years. So he was taking his time. He was, I'm surely that's what it means if you're dragging your feet. He was dragging his feet. Now, what was sort of like balling chain. He's spiritual balling chain, curled up genie toes. So he is addicted, like a lot of Catholic priests, addicted to the power of bullshit magic. Yeah, magic wafers. All the power that gives. So we've got a bit of a theme going on here. We've got a small guy who wants to dominate over me, a big guy. In fact, as it turns out, God Almighty, and he likes the power derived from magic. Okay, so I am God Almighty, and I honestly genuinely do not have any desire whatsoever to dominate or tower over anybody. Really don't. Even though I've known this for a while now. No, I had no pangs of thirst power, the power I have now. No, I just felt really, actually quite depressed and thought, oh God, more responsibility, unpaid as always. When am I going to have some time to myself and a bit of pleasure? Okay, so that's it's a little piece. So, okay, so also because say passes the Golden Cup to a bunch of I don't know, blokes in frocks, basically a blokes in frocks. I don't know what they were, cardinals or bishops or just not even any of them, but they all gathered around in a huddle, debating the life of the church because they've been brainwashed, completely brainwashed for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. Perhaps the money's good. Perhaps it's a career thing, but they've all been brainwashed into absolutely. Well, putting on a pedestal, meaningless bullshit. Strange, very strange. So they pass the cup to the Pope, who immediately thrusts it in the air above his head like it's the most important thing ever, and must be exalted to the highest of heights. And instead of seeing the Pope, I see this black eagle, this black. Not very nice eagle, pretty cruel and aggressive looking, and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger until he fills the whole stage, and he's looking right at me, and he's got really cruel eyes, and I think, oh, here we go again. Yeah, what have I done this time? Yeah. And did I? Is it because I created you? Is it because I gave you life? Oh, I'm really sorry. So what are you killing me for this time? Yeah. Shall I just repent of making you in the first place, you nasty piece of shit? Anyway, so and I fall down. Apparently, actually, I fall down completely distraught and upset that. This guy, who's I thought was supposed to be a spiritual person, was just being so fucking nasty. I'll drop down on the floor, and really, my whole world is falling into a big bottomless pit because, I wanted to be a really good Catholic boy. I wanted to, I thought this is something with meaning. This is something that, I could really get into, and here are all my heroes, basically being as horrible and nasty and vile as you could possibly imagine, and I'm on the floor now, feeling like my whole life is has turned upside down, and suddenly I'm picked up off the floor, like literally picked up off the floor, by an invisible person, sat back on my chair, and this invisible person touches my solar plexus area, and I immediately go from terrified and demoralised to completely, switched on and absolutely fine. In fact, so switched on and absolutely fine so instantly that the Catholic vile, bigoted, nun-type woman, about 3 or 4 seats to the left of me, she starts going, look, he was acting. It's nothing wrong with him. See, he was terrified. Now he's perfectly fine. So obviously, she'll never know the truth. The truth was that an angel touched me and instantly strengthened me. So I'm back on my chair, and everyone's looking around and thinking, what's going on here? What's this boy doing? Is he acting? Is it real? And the angel, the very first thing the angel says to me is, I've been reading your book. I go, oh, right, so I'm only 10 years old, and so I, without even thinking, I said, he's been reading my book. And everyone looked at me like, what? Someone's talking to him, and they've just said they're reading his book. So I said to the angel, I said, well, what book? What? And he says, he didn't say when you were 28. I actually, made that bit up because I worked out I was 28 when I wrote this pamphlet. But so to be accurate, he said, when you were older, you write a book. Now, the first thing he said was, I've been reading your book. Chernobyl is in the Bible. I've never written a book. It wouldn't be a book I've written, after this stage of my life, because it's just. I don't think it would anyway. It wouldn't make any sense for it to be. So it would have to be a book that I'd written. And I've never written a book. I mean, I used to, because I was, I never once thought in my entire life for a second that I was God or Jesus. I never once thought I never once thought at any point in my life that when he said, I've been reading your book, he could have meant the Bible. But he must have meant the Bible, thinking about it now, because, it turns out that I'm God, and God wrote the Bible. And, angels do read the Bible. Angels don't read the shitty pamphlet that I wrote when I was 28. It was about a year before I became a Christian, and everyone was like, oh, this is a bit silly, isn't it? It had like bits and bobs and all sorts of weird shit in it. I can't imagine that that an angel would be reading such, not very good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've written some good stuff recently, but not in book form. So the only book, and what book do angels read, and what book would an angel refer to in the first instance? I mean, angels aren't that careless to give the false impression to a prophet that he might be prophet and king. He might be, the author of the book, the best-selling book in the entire world, which is, of course, the Bible. So, again, think about it. The angels know that I'm now interpreting that comment as the Bible. So, again, they know the future, so they wouldn't make such a careless mistake that I could make, such a foolish, assertion that I wrote the Bible. When we said to us in 1982, I've been reading your book, you never believe when he's like 50, he'll actually think we meant the Bible. Like I say, angels know the future, so they know that I will end up believing that they meant the Bible. And in fact, when you actually think about it, it's pretty obvious that he did, in fact, mean the Bible. So Jesus, the Word of God, the same person who wrote the Bible, that's the Word made flesh. I am the Word made flesh. So, I really genuinely am, according to the angels, the same person that they nailed to a cross. And whoa, like I said, at the start of this video, what is the central message really of Christianity? Come on, what is it? What is it? Everybody is an absolute, okay? Something's gone wrong, obviously. Everyone's a complete wanker. Everyone. Even my best mates, my closest buddies, everyone. It's the same now. It's exactly the same now, and oh dear, how depressing. I really, really hoped, I really, really hoped that everybody was just like me. I really did, because when I was 16, I can remember standing in my bedroom going, this world is too cruel for me. It's just too cruel. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Cruel. I'm a sensitive child. I thought the world was just really cool, especially when teenage boys are vile. I mean, they're just vile creatures, really cruel to each other, and it was just too cruel for me. It's always been too cruel for me, really. And anyway, so I'm the guy that wrote the Bible. That was the first thing the angel told me, and which obviously, meant that the second coming was 15th of September 1971. Okay, I repeat, for future reference and for the history books, 15th of 1971, Walsgrave Hospital, and my dad, top guy, a real absolute gem, a top guy, a real top guy. Everyone loved him. He created Jesus. I mean, I wish he was alive so I could tell him, but he's in heaven now and he knows perfectly well who I am, and he will be one of the angels who will come back and help me out very shortly, if he's not already here. So that's so anyway, what happened? So the Pope rears up at me and I fall down, and the last thing I think when I look at the Pope is mate, you're really not scary. Yeah, I thought you were scary at first, but the more I look at you, the more full of hot air you are, really. And he got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then faded away. And I could see the Bat people, 32 people behind him, clapping with their wings. And they contacted me in 2016 and they said, you have a problem to the 322 people. Yeah. So maybe, perhaps more than maybe, the Pope or somebody in the Catholic Church told them there's a prophet in the world, yeah? He's Russ Brown and he's going to be a problem to you. Well, I ain't wrong about that anyway. Like I say, yeah, grow up. That's all I'd say to the 322 people, really. Yeah, do we really need to have a fight? Do we have to have a fight? Yeah, just grow up. Yeah. You're just like my mates from school, really. Yeah, Bush and all that lot. I'd probably have a fight with you, and you'd probably be scared of me. You're not, again, they're not scary. They do pretty disgusting things like wank in front of each other and stuff. Not very impressive. I think in a competitive score they'd probably get beat up quite a lot. But anyway, I'll say to the 322 people, grow up, okay? What more can I say, really? Why admire Jesuits, you silly fool? Admire me. Here I am. I'm Israel. Come and see me. Yeah, you'll like me. I tell you what, everyone likes me. Everyone who gets to know me likes me. So even you lot will. So stop being my enemy and come and have a spliff with me. Yeah, come and have a spliff, and we'll have a laugh. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I think anyway. But that's what I thought with the Pope, and he was a right bastard. So, yeah, I still think that now. I thought right at the start, don't worry about it. I'll still make up with the Catholic Church. I know I call them Antichrist, I call them the Whore of Babylon, but come on, don't take it to heart too much. Yeah, you just bloody, I've been called worse, and, still made up with the person calling me these names a few minutes later. But no, they, so all the big drama, they've all got to have a bit. Yeah. They're like teenagers in a big teenage swap with God, I think. But, I don't know. I mean, what else can it be? Really, it's just so pathetic. Anyway, so what happened next was, let me think quickly. The angel was saying, I've been reading your book. And he says, and then he quotes, in 1986, Chernobyl will explode. I said, in 1986, Chernobyl. I said, can you just pronounce that word again? And he goes, Chernobyl. And I said it the second time, and I wanted to make sure I was pronouncing it right, because obviously, people were going to be writing it down, and I didn't want to, I didn't want to write it down. I don't know how they wrote it down, but logic would say they wrote it down with an S and a H, because phonetically that's exactly what it sounds like. Anyway, it was definitely Chernobyl, no doubt about it. He was referring to the Chernobyl prophecy. Pretty impressive considering that was 1982. So if you want absolute proof that the angels do know the future, and Chernobyl was not a staged event, no one's saying it was a staged event. There's lots of staged events. These are scripted events. It was a genuine accident caused by a test that went wrong, and it actually led to pretty much the breakup or the end of the Soviet Union. So it was a sign of the end of communism, which ironically I was in Gdansk trying to overthrow. And in fact, I think I am responsible for the Velvet Revolution. I'll tell you why, because my local pub, which was the Phoenix on Board Lane, they had these sort of faux velvet purple seats. And when I was 15, I looked pretty old. I could get in there and get a pint. 15, pretty impressive. So, and anyway, so I'm 17 or 18, and I'm going over to. I've met this Polish girl. She's on a perestroika and glasnost, thanks to Gorbachev. So, she was over here for the first time, and I wanted to, use her as my, my way into the Soviet Union. So I became her fiance, and I went over a few times, to Gdansk, where she lived, and it was just when it was all happening, of course. And I used to drive through East Germany, and I'd stop, and as I stopped, the local Red Army chief would come out, the local mayor, all the dignitaries they'd come out because I was a Westerner, and they'd come out. And I was like, I was 18, and they'd all be all night long. They'd all be standing around me, and at the end of the, I remember at the end of the night, it was like the Red Army, all these guys, and they all wanted to get me pissed on vodka, and at the start of the night, but everyone was a little bit tense at first because it was like capitalism. He's a capitalist and we're communists, and all this. But obviously after a couple of bottles of vodka by like 5 a.m, they were all hugging me, going, "We hated you at first, but now we love you." Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was really good. I'll tell you what, I really did my bit for East-West relations, even though I was only young. But yeah, they genuinely did love me by 5 a.m. But one of the things I did is I used to pull out this photo of these velvet seats from my pub, and he said, "Look, this is what it's like in the West. In my pub. Look at the seats." And I've got a feeling that that they were really impressed. That made them want more of the the luxuries and the but it started basically. I am alleging that I started the Velvet Revolution from that photograph, and everything else followed. I was trying to. I was a revolutionary, and I was in Gdansk, supporting Solidarnosc, because I hate authority. I hate politicians and communists and basically people who like to rule over other people. And funny enough, that's the Catholic Church. They like to rule over other people. So anything really to do with freedom, we don't need any of them. This is my view. We don't need absolutely any of them. Freedom, like I say in my video, you'll see in a minute. And I spend my entire life fighting against unnecessary bureaucracy and like I say, the paradise that we create in Isaiah 24. There's no political class and there's no religion, and it works just absolutely perfectly. Because I, God, the Lord Almighty, have basically, if I needed to create a police force or politicians or whatever, I would have created like some sort of separate species of human, because we needed that. We needed these things. We don't need any of these things. I'm telling you, we don't. I created you, and I'm telling you, we can get rid of the police. We can get rid of all of them. They cause more trouble than they're worth. All we need is conscious citizens who actually give a shit about each other, and that's the police. Okay, so what happened next is 1982, and I predicted Chernobyl. I actually predicted some other things as well. I did actually predict some other things, but because I'm not 100% sure, I don't actually mention it. But I'm pretty sure that I prophesied the barcode. Also on that day, because I can remember him saying to me, "There's going to be a computer code on everything you buy and sell." And I said to him in reply, I said, "Oh, so you've got computers in heaven?" And he goes, "No. I mean, a computer code on." I'm pretty sure he was describing the barcode, but the problem with that is, although he might have been describing the barcode, and the barcode wasn't really anywhere, I don't think, in 1982. It was officially, I think, invented in 1979. So doesn't sound that impressive. Although I do believe, and I have always believed, that the barcode is in fact, the mark of the beast, because the guard bars are actually identical to the left-hand six. So the actual unchanging structure of the universal product code is simply 666. It's the only bit that doesn't change, the 3 guard bars. Whether or not people will argue, will say, "Oh, well, the computer doesn't read it as a 6." Well, it doesn't matter. We're not, it doesn't matter what the computer reads it at. What do you actually see it at? You can get Coral Barcode Maker, and you can, check for yourself, and you'll see that the guy who invented the universal product code basically used the left-hand 6 for the 3 unchanging guard bars. Now, I tried to question him on that, and I said, "Did you do that on purpose to wind up Christians?" And he said, "Well, I wasn't even thinking about it." So Yeah, I think I think it always has been the mark of the beast. Now, what does that actually mean, or what did I mean when I wrote to that prophecy? Because 666 in the forehead, I would say, is a mindset. The carnal mind is set on death. And 666 in the hand, well, in the Bible, the hand represents all of man as to his will and action. And 666 in the forehead, that's where they used to tie the Torah around their forehead. It represents, what's constantly on your mind. Well, really, what's constantly on people's mind is consumerism, is materialism, is everything basically that represents. Now, you are not condemned for taking the mark. If you read carefully, it says you are condemned if you take the mark and the image and adore the image of the beast. What's the image of the beast? The image of the beast is a proud, materialistic men. Proud, materialistic, violent. It's actually all described in Psalm 73 and Psalm 103. What the image of the beast is. The image is the character of the beast. So you have to be a horrible person and take the barcode and live in a rich Western country where there's a barcode, and then you're not saved. You're not saved. But pretty much that's pretty much what people expect anyway. If you're a vile person, and you live in a rich country, don't expect to be saved by me. Okay, that's pretty much the mark of the beast. So anyway, I'm going to stop there because I could go on, and I'm running out of space on my hard drive.